Hey, are you a business owner, entrepreneur, or professional? If so, we want you to apply to be a featured guest on our show. My name is Adam Torres, and I host the Mission Matters series of podcasts. I've recorded over 3,000 episodes, and we are just getting started. How do you know if you'd be a good guest to be on the show? Well, only one way to find out, and that's to apply, but I'm going to let you in on a little secret. We want guests that have a story to tell, guests with a brand, a product, or a service that can benefit my audience of listeners. If this sounds like you, go to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to Apply. I'd love to talk to you and get to know more about your story. Again, head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to Apply. All right, now let's get into the show. Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Money Podcast, your source for all things money. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to Apply. All right, so today I have Leah Slaughter on the line, and she's co-founder over at OmniKey Realty. Leah, welcome to the show.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me, Adam.
All right, so excited to get into today's topic. So we will talk about OmniKey Realty and really your unique real estate model. But before we get started with that, maybe just tell us a little bit more about how you got started in the real estate business.
Absolutely. So Michael and I started the company when we were 18 and 19, so a little bit different than kind of everyone's typical journey into business ownership. And we bought our first home, and we worked with an agent who just really didn't understand what we were looking to do with negotiating, repairs, and we're laying in bed one night, and he said, you know, I could do this so much better. We could make this huge. And pair that with where we were located in DFW and the massive growth and seeing the highway expansions, we really felt like there was a need for investment property in these growing markets with incredible opportunity for return. And so within a month, we had our licenses, and within 6 months, we had our company.
Wow, what an amazing story. 18 and 19. So really, I mean, in comparison to, you're that's a young age to start within real estate, especially to have such a nice, long, and robust career already. That being said, obviously, we all learn from, our ups and downs and everything in between. Now, obviously, you're much further along on your path now and, further in terms of real estate. Any type of tip you'd give to anybody that's out there, like thinking about entering real estate or real estate market in general?
I think the thing that really set us apart was work ethic. And one of the biggest things I talk to even my children about is it doesn't matter if you're flipping burgers at McDonald's or if you're a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. It's 100% about what you put into what you do. I'm a big believer that opportunity comes to everybody, and it's all how we embrace it and how we use it. Some of us have a better upbringing in terms of capability or education or finances than others, but that doesn't mean that you can't do something incredible with your life. My husband is a perfect example of that. He came from a bad side of Mesquite, from a very low income household, and we did everything that we've done and gotten to where we are because of the hard work, because of schooling, because of all those things that we put 100% into. So my guidance and my advice to anybody is whatever you're doing, whatever your goals are, give it 100%. Don't be lazy. Don't delay. Everything boils down to how much you're willing to put in, and that's what you're going to get out of it. And I'm a huge believer of that.
What an amazing story. I love it. That's great. I want to switch it up a bit. Let's get into your real estate model and what really some of the things that make OmniKey Realty kind of unique.
So we are a one-stop shop for everything investment property, and that means a one-stop shop for our investors and our owners, a one-stop shop for our tenants, and a one-stop shop for really everybody in between. And so we built our model day one with the backbone in property management because we knew if we were going to have investment property, how those properties were maintained and cash flowing during the hold period would be paramount to the overall return. It also would allow people to be able to propel into more property and more return and more depreciation and all those things that we're looking for. And the interesting thing is when we went into that marketplace and we started doing our property management model, we did it for a lot less money and offered a lot more services. And at the time, it was virtually unheard of, like doing quarterly walkthroughs. Everyone thought we were crazy to do that, and especially at our pricing. But doing that is what allows us to make sure it's in great condition all the time, allows us to put it for lease during the tenancy because we know it's show ready. and that keeps vacancy down. There's just so many things that we started doing different. And it's great to look back because now I see all of our competitors trying to do many of the same things. And, most of our big competitors that we started with have all sold. They've all gone IPO. And so I'm proud to sit here and say that, yes, although we represent thousands of investors and we personally buy almost 100 units a year, we are family owned and operated to our core. And we've been able to stay that way and still have that handhold approach that made us so unique in the beginning.
That's amazing. And so, tell us a little bit more about your demographic, like geography-wise, and the type of people that typically make sense, or the type of clients that typically make sense to work with OmniKey Realty.
One of the great things about being that handhold environment is that we have clients that have 100 properties and we have clients that have one. We have some people who come to us that maybe they had a house that they were living in and they got relocated, or maybe they inherited this home and they have no idea what it is to be a landlord. And the great thing about where we work, which is almost 70% of Texas at this point, is the market is so unique here and so strong while still being affordable that it really allows you to take just that one property and turn that into your nest egg and turn that into an investment strategy to propel you forward. And so, we have clients from every walk of life. We have people who are 18 and 19, like Michael and I were when we bought our first property. And we have retirees in their 90s who were doing this to supplement Social Security or retirement benefits that they have. And so really anybody is a fit for this. And whether you're working with us, whether you're doing it on your own, I am the first one to say that it's so much easier than you think it is. But it's the only way that you can work for yourself and know that you're going to have income every month and know that you're going to have value every month, because you can have a property that burns down tomorrow and you're still going to have that land, and hopefully you have great insurance to cover that. It's one of the only investment models that there is where the protection is there, that there's always some value in what you own.
Tell us a little bit more about your team, because I looked at your website prior to the interview when I was doing my prep, and it just looks like you have an amazing team with you. It looks like it's a great place to be.
Oh, we really do. We call ourselves one big dysfunctional family, and that really is true. And, my core team has been with me for really almost since the beginning. We've got an amazing vice president, a great management team. Total, there's about 50 of us, and we all are just very like-minded in the fact that we all are trying to not only help others, but also help ourselves build something for our futures and for our families. And so it's a great place to work. We are infinitely blessed with the team that we have. And even just with our customers and our tenants and everybody, we really find that when you put the right feel out there, you get the right feel back.
Yeah, I totally got that by looking at your website, if that makes sense. I know it's hard to believe, but I look at a lot of websites and I'm like, I feel like the people here are really happy to be here. This is awesome.
I certainly am.
That's amazing. So I know there's a lot going on in the Texas market, right? And because you cover so much of Texas, I believe you said almost 70% of it or so. I know there's a lot of different pockets and areas. I mean, I'm in California, I'm in LA, and obviously there's a lot of people from LA moving to Texas right now, and a lot of investment money in LA. We get a lot of downloads in California. What's interesting to you right now in the market?
Well, it's funny you say that. About 3/4 of our customers are out of California and New York. And so we are no stranger to the mass relocation, not only of businesses, but also individuals coming to us. And the thing that I find so interesting right now, and certainly don't want to bring politics into any of this, but there has been a big shift and what we're seeing coming out of California. And that is the business-minded, the wanting to have the ability to live better within your means and be able to let your money go further. And, you can look at what Tesla's doing and coming here right outside of Austin. And I think a lot of people are recognizing that there are other places in the country where you can really live on really the same income from the same employers, but allow that income to go so much further. And you look at an area like where we are, and we're the 10th largest economy in the world, but our average price home is still about $250,000. And you compare that against an economy like New York City or like LA, and you look at the cost of living and the average price. I read a report talking about San Francisco where really at the poverty level, they're having to live in $250,000 homes. And that just dumbfounds me. And of course, I'm spoiled. I was born and raised in North Texas. And so I've really been able to watch this market grow. And although we're the 4th largest metro now, we're the only one that's still an affordable housing market, which I think is pretty incredible.
Yeah, I really do think it's pretty incredible. And when I see some of that, I have friends that are moving out there, and every time they're sending me pictures of homes and other things, and then, of course, people looking at investments and other things. Let's talk a little bit about the investment side of things and what you're seeing. It could be either in development, it could be in, value add. I mean, whatever. And tell us a little bit more about the niches that you operate within the investment field.
Absolutely. So we have a full investment sales and acquisitions team that helps investors not only sell property, but also buy back in. And we utilize 1031 exchanges for everything that we do. We do about 80 to 85% new construction. There's a lot of reasons why I love new construction. Don't have time to go into all those today, but there's a lot of benefits with that. Warranties, economic benefits up front of reduced property taxes, all sorts of things. And so we deal in outlying suburbs with an average purchase price around $160,000, which for our market's quite incredible. And then the other 20% is your value add properties. And so those are going to be the ones where we buy, we fix them up, and then we rent them for a year or potentially 2 or 3 years, depending on what the equity stake is and the appreciation and all of that. And then again, go back into 1031 to continually double the portfolio. So we're about 80-85% new construction and 15 to 20% pre-owned value plays.
Fantastic. Well, Leah, it's been amazing having you on the show today. I really appreciate you coming on and giving us an update on what's going on in the Texas market. Of course, your great team over at OmniKey Realty and all the great work you're doing over there. And then the amazing story, starting at 18 and 19. I believe this is the first. I've done over 3,000 interviews, and this might be the first one where I see a duo like yourself and Michael. I'm doing, since you're 18 and 19. It's just a great success story, in my opinion. You're providing a lot of opportunity, but also a lot of value in your marketplace. So, again, thank you for coming on the show and sharing. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget, if you're a first-time listener, hit that subscribe button. We want you to come back and listen to many more shows, have more great guests like Leah coming up for you. And Leah, again, it's been a real pleasure. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much.